to do a video. It's been a long time. It's been a while since I did a live video or even post anything on my page. I did post something about my business, but other than that, as far as doing a interview, not interview, a live video or reporting about what's going on around the world, it's been a while. I have been so busy working. Oh Lord, I've been working and trying to take care of the family, the home front, and and still try to maintain a life. So I'm here now to just do a little live videos, just to come back and tell you all I'm still alive, still healthy, still doing my thing, holding down, working, and doing my job, and also running my business, and I also have got into other things related to the business. I'm not going to. I'm not going to bring that up yet. I'm waiting on the process of that. My daughter said to me the other night, she said, Mom, you always doing something. And I told her, my response was that I'm going where the money is. If I can make a buck or two, and I see there's progress, or, there's wealth in that, I'm going to do that. So that's what I'm doing, is working and trying to maintain my family, my life, and my business, but also making sure that I'm still connected with my God. Um, but I miss all of you all who are the ones, my subscribers who are still following me, who are still loyal to me, who haven't seen me posted, but they have not unsubscribed to me. So thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for your understanding. Um, and for the ones who have unsubscribed, who unsubscribed me, who did not see me posting, who didn't think that I'm, serious about my YouTube page, but just decided to just unfollow me, I thank you anyway too, because that being said, it doesn't hurt. It hurts me, but it doesn't break me. It just keep going on and doing what my God has asked me and called me to do. So again, I miss all of you all, but I'm here because I was looking at a Facebook page, and I don't know if it happened on this coming Saturday. I don't know, but I did see a video about young kids I believe in Southwest Washington, that was all over the place. They have a curfew in D.C. and most are pretty much at half of the areas, or majority of the areas in the neighborhood, they have a curfew for juvenile. And I don't know if this video was recent or it passed, but you see a lot of young people running all rapid over in the middle of the streets, on the sidewalk. They were fighting, and it was just a big mess. And I came across another video a couple of days ago, how I don't know if that was recent, but there was a girl who complained to her mom that she was being bullied, and they rode the school bus. And I don't know what part of state or city that was in, but the girl had got off the bus, and the girl and I think it was 3 or 4 girls who bullied the girl who complained to her mother. They got the bus as well, and then a lot of the people who the parents and stuff was saying and asking why did the driver allow the girls who were being who were bullying the girl, why did he or she let them off the bus? But anyway, they got the bus and they attacked the girl, and they attacked the girl so bad that the girl ended in the hospital, and eventually the girl succumbed to her death. Um, and I want to talk a little bit about that. I know when I was growing up, there were fights, among my peers, when I was young, but it was a fight, not the fight where it happened to be with, there were guns and knives. We fought with our fists, and I've been in a few little fights myself, not as much, but I have been in a few little fights when I was growing up. When I was growing up, the fights back then, when I was growing up, it was totally different from the fights that's going on around the world now. This new generation is something else. And we all tend to ask why the parents don't step up and intervene and do something about it. Well, I came across a lot of parents who have tried to intervene, who try to step up, but the world is so wicked now that there's nothing that the parents can do. I mean, and I blame it on the law, because the law has allowed these young people to have enough freedom that they don't have to listen to their parents. They can do what they want to do, say what they want to say, and don't feel the repercussion. And a lot of young kids, I call them kids, they do reap the repercussion, but they they don't even care about that. And and then we sit this and say to ask ourselves, what needs to be done? You know, and now like, and I'll go to work at night and I'll catch the bus or train, and you can't even look at a young person if they think that you looking at them disrespect. They are ready to cuss at you and hoping you reciprocate back to them. Then before you know it, y'all in an argument. And I'm not trying to go to jail. I may look young. There's sometimes when I do look young, I look younger than I am. But I am not trying to fight a young kid. And if the kid fight me, and then God forbid, I'm in a hospital, or the kids in the hospital, and I'm in jail, what have you. So you don't know how to reciprocate about when you come across that situation. And so I just feel like we as parents, we need to, we have a lot of parents have stepped up to the situation, try to dissolve the situation, try to be the parent to these kids, but we need to do something. We need to advocate. We need to, press to keep pressing forward to the law, and let the law not give these kids much freedom, much rights. Now, the good thing about the district in D.C., they have a curfew to, kids got to be off the street at a certain time, and that's good. But it does not make sense. It is not good. It doesn't make any sense if the curfew is in effect and the parents are not allowing these kids to understand their rules and their laws in their home. And if they try and they say, well, I've tried everything as a parent, then you need to let the law to come in and to remove the kids out of your home and show them this is the consequence of your action. Now, I'm not endorsing kids being in jail. I'm not endorsing kids being in prison, but I am endorsing to show them the ways of understanding and respecting the law. When that girl got off that bus, she never thought she got off that school bus and never thought that she was going to end up in a fight, and she was going to end up in a hospital to succumb her death. Now, the only thing I question about the mom is, and I'm not there, is when she complained to her mother or whoever was, her mother, father, and she complained to them about her being bullied. I'm pretty sure the mother or the father or just the mother, whoever, had complained to the school. But I would think that the school would have gotten involved, or I would think that the mother would sit there and say, hey, I'm going to remove my daughter off. They said he just moved it to the neighborhood, whatever that city was. I can't think of the state it was. But they said they just moved in that neighborhood. And you would think that the mother would have either transferred the daughter to homeschool the girl. And then if the law was telling them, well, you're going to be, you can't do this, you're going to face consequences, then as a mother, I would have to face consequences for my daughter, but I'm not there, and I don't understand. And I'm not going to jump on the mother because I wasn't there, but I just think it's a shame how this girl got the bus and they fought her to her death. And then I don't know if the girls have been held accountable, but if they are held accountable, not a lot of times kids like that, they hold accountable, and they are held accountable as a juvenile. No, that's again another part of giving the young kids freedom. If you sit up there and you fight another peers of your peers, and you fight it to the fact that they get in the hospital and they end up dying, then you need to be held accountable as an adult. Okay, it's no more we can't charge because they are an underage and we got to charge them as a juvenile. No, forget that. This woman would never see her child ever again. Okay. I don't know. I can only imagine what she has said to her daughter before her daughter left that morning to go to school. So this is the thing when I say press against the law. The law is quickly to give the young people freedom. The young. Let's give them a little break. No, it's not giving them a little break. If they want to sit up here and act like grown adults and act like they don't have no kind of common sense, then show them what common sense is really made of. And I'm looking at the video and how all these kids in Southwest, where is the parents? And then when the law come in and intervene, then we want to sit there and jump on the law, the police officers, or saying that y'all wrong. No, they're not. You got, and if you don't want the outside society to teach your kids responsibility, then you have to do it yourself as a parent. I had three kids. Okay, I have a 28-year-old a daughter. I have a 25-year-old son, and I have a 14-year-old son. Okay, and I have taught all my three kids the consequences of the action. You're not going to sit up here and call it, oh, my mother didn't teach me, or I can do what I want to do. No, you're going to act like you have common sense. You're going to go out here in this world, and you're going to respect yourself first, and respect me as your mother, and you're going to take what I have taught you, and you're going to do it the right way. So my thing is that we want to agree with the law 1 minute, and then we feel like the law is trying to take on our responsibility, then we want to say the law is wrong. And so I just felt like it should be a better setup when it comes to these kids around this world. This young generation, they are something else. I mean, they are just the type of kids that you just can't even handle. And if somebody asked me one time, if I regret, do I wish to be born in this year? No, I don't, because when I was growing up, I learned the word respect. I know when I was growing up, my mother with me, my grandmother with me, my neighbor with me. It was just a thing of discipline. And there were unruly kids when I was growing up. I'm not gonna say we was all perfect and angel, because I know I wasn't, but it's just a different type of era in this world. And then and when you see it, and I always was taught, when you see the street lights on, come on, it's time to go in. And if you are out past street light, you're doing something respectable, something that is positive. And I know a lot of young kids, like to this day, either going to work, or they, coming from school. That's one thing. But you're just running all over the city, and don't care about the neighbors trying to get rest, and you want to, press your friends, and you want to act like you tough. That's something needs to be done. Just like when them young people went over there to Cancun on the spring break. And I don't know what's true now, but I've heard and I read that some of them young people came back with so much STDs. And then I read about how neighbors, people who live in that little that town, said they don't have a problem people coming toward their little home, but they have a problem when people outside come in and they tear up their town. And I agree with the people, and then they go over there and they buck wow, and if you don't want nobody coming in your home, it's destroying your home, then why should you do it to other people's home? These young generation people are something else. I blame sometimes the parent. I definitely blame the law, because especially when the law is giving them much freedom, much right. I just feel like it needs to be a better system of what's going on around the world. You got young people that being in jail that is way too young, that's going to an adult jail. But you know what? The ones who are going into adult jails because they've been disobedient, I don't feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry for them at all. And then you got young people that are end up losing a life. They're getting killed. They're getting stabbed. I mean, it's just leaving this world too soon. You got young people that's on the you're smoking this weed, you're doing this drug. It's just so sad. Why we can't. But it's not surprising to me, because it's what the word said. Okay, what's going around this world now and it's happening around the world is what the Bible said. And we, like I said, we as parents need to gang together, team up together, and continue to not be these kids' friends, not trying to let them off easy, but just continue to teach them and show them this is the way of consequences. Like I told my adult daughter and my adult son, I am 54 years old, and I don't have any grandkids. Not because of they're not, my two adults, the kids are not having sex. They're not out there dating, thanks be God. But it comes a time when they are going to time when they do decide to date, they know what I taught them. That my two adult kids, and I say my two adult kids, even my little boy who's 14, he's now becoming a teenager now. They are learning not to use drugs. drink, anything like that. Everything that the world wants to offer them that is bad, I'm telling them, this is the consequence of your action. And I always tell my kids this: there are consequences of your action. Can go several ways. It can go positive or it can go negative. And the positive means that you got good consequences. Like with me, I got good consequences. I go to work, I come home, I take care of my family, I love my husband, I respect my vows, I do everything, I serve my God, I do everything that is positive. The bad consequence is that you're doing the opposite of that. Instead of, for example, going home to your family, to your husband, serving God, taking your vow, you're doing the opposite of that. So I told my kids that you have a choice. You have a choice to go here and lay with a man, a woman, and wake up with consequences of your actions, which is disease, pregnancy, or what have you. You got a consequence of the deal with drugs, being dead on the drugs, OD, whatever. You got the consequences of that. If you don't want to face that, then leave it alone. And then not only leave it alone, then you got to steady continue to pray to God. You got to steady continue to talk to that man upstairs. You know, that man is not a phone, is not miles away. He's right there in the center of your heart if you only try him. And he said in the Bible, if I knock at the door, would you allow me to sup with you? If you only allow him to enter to your heart and freely, and not because you are forced to do something, but you allow him into your heart and you allow him to guide you, guide your footsteps in every direction or every path that he wants to take you. These young people are not at that level. They ain't even thinking about God. They're not even serving God. And if they are serving God and think about God, it's because, not willingly, but because their parent is forcing them. And that's why these young kids are going around here being rampant. You got kids my son age that are pregnant. You got kids my oldest son age that are in jail. You got kids my daughter's age that is in a worse situation, you know. And so all I'm saying is that we have to do something to, we got to push the legislation, Congress to enforce the law. We got to, start at home. A lot of parents don't sit there and talk to their kids. A lot of parents don't pray to kids, have Bible class in their home. Me and my family, we can't always go to church all the time because we always working. But the one thing that we have in our home is God. I taught my kids that a church building is a church building. And there's nothing wrong going inside the church building to be around the elected saints. But God understands when you have to work on the weekend. Like me, I am in healthcare. So God understands that. But he's not looking at the fact and saying, okay, she go to church building, so she get an A+. That is not, he's not thinking about that. There's devils that go inside the church building and every Sunday and every Bible class and a bit more having God in their heart. Okay, it's not bad that you do that, but it's God checks the spirit, the heart of a person. Okay, he checks if that heart is aligned with him. So the thing about is that even though my family that we don't get to go to church all the time because we always working like nonstop, we do serve God in our home. We talk to God, we pray, we read the word, we do everything that God has wanted us to do, because without God, I don't think any of us can be able to stand on our own. We could try to stand on our own, we could try to figure out this and that, but it's not going to be a permanent, and it's not going to last, because without God, there's no dwelling, there's no foundation. How can you build a house without the bricks and the mortar and the soils and what do you call it, the foundation, the paperwork, whatever you want to, what architects that does, how they build houses and buildings and like that. So without those tools, how can you build the house? The house is going to fall. So without God in your heart, how can you survive in this world? How can you be able to sit there and say, I can do this and I can do that, without God in the midst of your heart? So a lot of these kids are not being taught the word of God. A lot of these kids think their parents are their friends. A lot of kids think because they're young that the law is not going to throw the book at them. But they're sadly mistaken. We need to press the law and tell them to throw the book at them, especially when we know that they're wrong. Them girls that sit there and fought that girl, and how many of teenagers who have done the same thing them girls did to that girl. We need to hold them accountable for it. I remember when I was in school and we were fighting like that, the council would bring us in and have us to sit there among the council and kids and then the parent, and we would have counseling section inside the class and outside the class. Our class hours, and it helped us because it made us who we are today. We don't have that anymore. Or if you do have counseling inside the section of the class, that's it. After school hours, that's it. You're on your own, And if that school knew that girl was being bullied, why didn't the school intervene? Why did somebody intervene so that girl would not end in the hospital and to succumb her death? It is really, really sad. And we need to do something about it. We need to pull together and try to figure out what can work for these young kids, because every minute, every hour, we're losing a young child, whether to drugs, whether to diseases, whether to death, or whether in jail, And then when they get in the young kids get in a situation like that, they're crying out, but it's too late for them. And don't you realize that the devil is in the midst of this? And the Bible, God asked the devil where he coming from and what he's doing. And the devil, nothing come to and from who I can vow, who I can get their soul, their spirit, their life. Every day we fight against the principality and the demonic spirit of this world. We fight against the devil advocate. And we have to be strong and we have to stay in the word. We got to talk to God. We need God more now than ever. We needed God back then. Yes, we did. But we needed God. We need God more than ever now because we know that this world will soon be ending. And we know that the devil knows that his advocate for trying to get people sold is going to soon end. And he knows that the devil himself, the kingdom of darkness, the kingdom of evilness is going to suffer after everything takes place. So we need to illustrate the reality of letting go of the sinful things of this world and accept God and the spiritual things that is related to him and his son Jesus before it's too late. Before it's too late. And I'm just looking, I'm just looking at a lot of things. And I just shake my head, I got on a bus last week, and it was two girls at the bus, and I felt, how when you know that you are rooting in God, you can just feel the spirit of the of Satan, and evilness. And one of the girls, she looked me up and down, and because I don't look my age. When I really, I take my glass and I really get myself together, and I just turned around, and I said, and I just tossed. I was at the bus. I started talking to my God, and then the girl. I got on the bus first, and the two girls got on in the back. So one of the girls that I felt her spirit, she said, "Yeah, I fight with my hand. My hands is fast." And I said to myself, now the old me would have said, "What you say?" But I said, "You know what? I'm not gonna say nothing. Another. Not because I'm a punk, not because I'm scared, but because I know the signs of the devil." See, that's what the devil was telling God what he was doing, going to and from. Now I could have reciprocate back to her and said something smart. And before you know, me and that girl and her friend, we all would have been fighting. And then they would have looked at me and said, "Well, you older than these girls, So what do? I ignore it. I heard it and I just turned my head and I just ignore it. And I wasn't afraid. Because my mother always taught me and my two sisters, no matter back then now, she said to us, no matter if you get she said your ass whooped, the point is don't be no punk. You fight until you finish. And back then we used to do that. But I wouldn't do it now. Because now these kids today, they don't fight with the fists. They fight with guns and needles, and then they don't fight one-on-one. When one person or two people fighting, then everybody jump in. And it's not if you want to, and people say, "Oh, you just a punk." You just no, you're not a punk. You're using your mind. You're walking away from the situation. Okay, it's better to walk away, keep your mouth quiet, and instead of trying to prove to everyone that you're not a punk and you're not afraid, and then before you know it, you end up dead, you end up in jail, or you end up hurt, or whatever. God forbid something else happened bad to you. And these kids today, they are bullies. They will not come to you one on one. They have something to prove to their peers, and they come as groups. So we have, again, to make a long story short, we have to do something about the system that's going around the world. The system is not working for the young people. And then, especially, and also, I want to say that if these young people don't have or receive anything that's positive at home, and it's just now these young, it's any devil as well. You got grown people acting like kids, grown people talking smart, trying to get your attention, trying to stir something up. I see it all the time when I get on the bus and train. Or they're laughing about the way you talk or you look or what have you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna, hey, we ain't gonna, they do it to me sometimes. And you know what? I don't care. You got grown women against grown women, grown men against grown men, and then now that make it so bad about it, you got grown men against women and women against men. Because there are men that are jealous of women, there are women that are jealous of men. So are you going to sit there and say, okay, I got to get the last word? No. You need to just say, you know what? I don't know these people. But at the end of the day, I still have my life. At the end of the day, I'm just going to walk away and pray for your enemy. God said, love your enemies. That despitefully use you and abuse you and talk about you and do all kind of evilness to you. If they ain't put your hands on you, then walk away. Now, I'm not talking about they just sit there and attack you. Then, yes, you got to defend yourself. But if if they say some thing, like the rhyme go, sticks and bones may break my bones, whatever, words can never hurt. That is so true. You got to learn to ignore and just walk away. It's not worth it. And a lot of the young kids, they don't have positive role models in their lives. A lot of these kids, their families, some of their families end up in out of the prison and jail, what have you. So they think that this is the way of life. And that's why the city, the law, when they standing right, the parent don't want to, why, so if you don't want the law and the Congress legislation to take on the responsibility of raising the kids, then you as a parent need to do something before it's too late. That's what I do to my kids. And I got two young adults, and I don't care if they're an adult. As long as I got breath in my body, and as long as God made me the mother for them, I'm going to continue to be the mother to them until they venture on their own. So I just wanted to say this, say that, it is sad to see, looking at the videos and stuff and seeing these young people just going around here and antagonize people and their peers and people who are not their peers, and they just don't have respect for themselves. Their attitudes stink, and they just feel like that the world owed us. The world don't owe us anything. We owe our own self something. If you want a better life, then work hard for it, like I'm doing. I'm working hard. Like my daughter said the other day, I'm doing another thing that's related to my business. And I think, oh, Lord, I'm waiting for the progress. But I'm always trying to see different revenues or avenue, what I can do to sustain myself. Because, I'm getting older now. And my daughter said to me, "Oh, Mom, you always doing this." I said, "Yes, I go with the money here. I see what I need to go out here and start this chapter and that chapter. I'm not the type of person just set up for this. Okay, this is it. My mom ain't teach me that, or my father. My mother always taught me, hey, you continue to reach out until you can't reach out no more. And that's what I'm doing. And I've always been doing that. And that's what my kids is doing. I'm teaching my kids. My husband and I, we both teach our kids. Like my husband is a workaholic man. I'm telling you, turn around, he's working. When he comes in, I leave out. When I leave out, he comes in. Every time we don't even see each other. And it's not because we have problems in a relationship, because our relationship is solid, solid as a rock. Like Samson and Alfred and Samson, their songs are solid as a rock. Our relationship is solid. But we have that, we don't see that because our mindset is making sure we have a foundation. So when we leave this world, our kids can have a foundation. And making sure that we be able to sustain whatever we have developed, our home, our living expense and everything, you know. And when you have the type of attitude, it will take you far. And I know there are a lot of single mothers out there who don't have the husband. I was a single mother one time. Okay, so I can understand that. Single mother who is trying their best to do what they can to keep their family together. It's like a episode time, and James, the guy shot what is it? I think James Evan or his son, and he saw outside the court building. He saw the mother trying to talk to the boy, the son. The boy was just so disrespectful and ruly, you know. And James realized, he felt sorry for the mother because he realized all the mother tried to do for his son, the son is still disrespectful, still disrespectful. So there are parents, mothers, and fathers, because there are single fathers out there who have done all they can for their children, and their children still disrespectful, still disruptive, still don't want to listen to the consequences of, the system, the consequences of action towards it when their mother or their father trying to teach them. I understand that. Then you got to let them go. You got to let the law, the police, the prison, the jail, the some kids have mental disability. You got to let the hospital take over that. And then why is it that now Congress, there are some states where the kids show disability and they have a meltdown, and because they're an adult, the parents can't now sign them over, or the parents can't do anything for the kids because they're adults. So then it takes for the kid to go out here to kill the parents, kill somebody else, or have a serious meltdown for the city, the law to come and say, okay, put them in the hospital. I don't give a dang if the kids are adult or what have you. If the parent can prove that these kids has a mental is in a mental capacity where they can't control, then the parent needs to be the advocate for the kids. That's why I say the system has failed on these young kids. In the beginning, give the kids what they want. If they want an apple, nah. And we tell them, nah, the apple's not good. No, go ahead, because they're young. They give it to what they want. And then when they send it, they're breaking the law, the city, the law want to step in or want to say, well, why the parent? No, because you give the law has given these young kids so much freedom that they don't know, they don't know what is right and wrong. Like when my daughter was growing up, and I remember when I took her to the children's hospital, to the doctor's office, and the woman told me, and you can't go back there. Well, I said, why not? Because she said, I said, I don't care. I said, listen, I said, put handcuffs on my wrist and lock me up, because as long as I am a mother to my kid, and my daughter was under 18. I said, as long as my kids are living on my roof and she's still my child, I said it to my daughter and my son, I want to be a mother to my child. And so she asked my daughter, I'm looking at my daughter to say something. My daughter said, no, it's okay. She come back there. And the doctor said, I wish we had more mothers like me, like you. And I said, yeah, I wish they did too, because I don't live under the law. Those are my kids. Now I don't go to the doctor. I don't go to the doctor now because she's way up in age now. She's a grown adult now. And the same thing with my older son. But I stood my grounds. And I said, you can lock me up. And imagine they had to just call the police, lock me up. They was, what are you in here prison? What are you in here jail prison for? Being a mother to my kids. Them prisoners would have looked at me like, what? Huh? But I stood my grounds. And that's why these young kids are like they are now. And that's why they had to put the juvenile curfew in D.C. And now they did several other states, cities or states. Because they're getting out of hand, and we're losing our young people every minute, every moment. And it's because the system failed them, and some of us parents have failed them as well. And not only failed them, is because there is no God in the center of what's going around this world. We can sit there and blame this, that, and that. But like I said, we need to put God in the midst of everything we do, say, act, think, feel, whatever. If there's no God, there's no foundation. And we can sit there and cry, we can sit there and question, we can sit there and wonder. But if God is not the midst of this and of our life and whatever He has designed for us, we're not going to make it. We're going to continue to fall, but be the prey, the victim, and under the hole or barrier of Satan. And he don't care about me. He don't care about y'all. He don't care about nobody, but trying to get your soul. Because he know he's going to suffer in hell. So why not bring this person, that person, and suffer with me as well? Let's get it together, y'all, before it's too late. I shouldn't have to sit up here and watch news and turn on the TV or look at my phone and seeing a younger person's life just being dissolved. You know, when you got like you have like upset somebody, or you have an accident and you put a warm water and you put the alka seltzer and you just look at that little tablet and that tablet just frizzle. And after a while, it's frizzled so the point is no more tablet. It's just mixed with the water. And that's how our soul is. If we don't let God in the midst of our soul, in the midst of our life and our hearts and our soul. That's what the devil's trying to do. He's trying to take that same Alka-Seltzer frizzle and frizzle to the point where there's no more tablet. Where he's trying to do the same thing with our soul and our heart. Let's get it together before it's too late. If you like this video, please tap on that bell for more upcoming videos or postings that I put on here, and for notification, please subscribe and follow me. I know I have been away for a while because I'm doing multitasking. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and there's other avenues that I'm trying to work out, you know. And I have to plot myself my back. I'm doing my thing. It's hard, it's a struggle, but I am going to keep doing till I can't do no more. No, I'm not working myself to burn myself out, but I'm working to want to establish things in my life, things I never had when I was growing up, with the things I see my mother used to struggle with, and my father, you know. So I'm doing my thing, but I am going to try my darndest to post things on my channel. If I don't do live video, y'all know I'll post stuff on my video on my channel. So please tap the notification button for more upcoming videos or posting, and notification, and also subscribe to my channel. I have this channel, Let's Chat with Sporty. I have another channel that I am posting my business, Sporty Classic Creation LLC, and I have my TikTok, my Instagram, my Pinterest, and I have several other platforms you can follow me on. You can also follow me on my on Google as well. But I thank you for like again said at the beginning, I thank you for the ones who are following me, who have not unfollow. It shows me that your loyalty with me is still good. It shows that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And again, I don't get the glory. My God get the glory. But it shows me that there's people out here that look at me, not for the outer appearance of me, but look what's coming out of my mouth, and whatever comes out of my mouth and my heart is who I really am. And so I thank you for all of my followers. I thank you for the depths of my heart. I thank you for just understanding me when I'm talking. Sometimes I stutter, you know, I'm talking too fast. And so thank you for that. And then the ones who have unfollowed me, come on back, you know, follow me. And if you chose not to follow me or come on back, that's still good. Like, as I said many times on my video and on my podcast, is that my podcast is Let's Chat with Sporty as well. I said many times, if I'm on here talking to myself, I'm really not. I'm talking to myself, my God, my God, and His Son Jesus. And with that being said, thank you all, and have a great day. And until next time, be easy.